All right, so this is week number 10 in the ERT107 course. So we are changing gears now. We are all completed with safety, and now we are moving into the professional development portion of the course. So we're going to start talking today about career paths, job searching, and resumes. All right. So let's get into that. So resumes and job search. So we are assuming that most of you are in this program with the intent that you want to get a job in this field when you are done. So this is basically what this is geared towards. So today we're going to talk about the different types of places that you could work at with the skills that you're going to get from this program, how to actually conduct a job search, some tips for that, some tips for building your resume and how to actually write a good resume, and what you should actually be highlighting on that resume before you send it out. So different places that you can work when you graduate. So there's basically four main streams that our graduates would probably go into, or four different fields of work. They would be system integrators, machine builders, or OEMs. OEM stands for Original Equipment Manufacturer, a manufacturing plant, or some type of contract agency or contract house. So let's first talk about system integrator. So examples of companies that would be considered a system integrator: Brave Control Solutions here in Windsor, Radix here in Windsor, Onyx Engineering here in Windsor, JMP, very big in the London area, and Data Realm, another one here in Windsor. So what is a system integrator? These are companies that basically do design, build, and startup of control systems and automation systems. So they typically do not build machines themselves, but what they do is they are probably an office that has people that work there that sell their engineering and design services to other companies. Okay? So this is the field that I worked in before I started teaching here at St. Clair College. And I can tell you, Brave Control Solutions, Onyx Engineering, two places that I worked at before I came to teach here at St. Clair. So, advantages of working at a system integrator. One thing you'll find with system integrators, you're always doing cutting edge technology. They are always likely going to be doing kind of state-of-the-art machines and using whatever is the most up-to-date technology that is out there, because that is probably what their customers are going to be dealing with. So you're going to be using new things, and you're always going to get a chance to learn new things. So you're always advancing your knowledge, and a lot of what you want to do early on in your career is try to advance your knowledge and expand your skills as much as possible, because the more you expand your skills, the more marketable you make yourself down the road, the more transferable you make to switch jobs or improve your career, things like that. So you want to be able to learn as much as you can in a short amount of time as soon as you get out of school. Working for a system integrator is a really good way to do that. And you will find that you're probably going to make very good money. This you're going to see as a common theme for a lot of these career fields, the good money side of it. So some of the downsides of this: you will find that you're going to do a lot of project type work that's going to be very high stress, short timeline. This is going to lead to a lot of long hours, okay? So working holidays, working weekends, working long days. You are going to work a lot working at a system integrator. There is probably also guaranteed going to be travel involved as well. We'll talk a little bit about travel. You'll see a lot of these themes played out in a lot of the interviews that I'm posting on the Blackboard site as well, with some of the people that have worked in these industries. This is a common theme you'll see, is travel is definitely a prevalent theme that will come up. So system integrators will travel. What you'll find is that many of the places where the equipment ends up is not local. Okay, so they'll be doing work on a machine that will end up somewhere in the US, somewhere else in Canada, somewhere in Mexico, or somewhere like that. And you'll have to go travel with that piece of equipment uh, to eventually make it work. Okay, so there definitely will be some travel involved. That can be a great thing if you're into that. It really depends on your lifestyle situation and your life situation. In a lot of cases, how old you are as well. If you are 20 years old and you're traveling with a bunch of people, that can be a lot of fun and is a pretty good way to go. If you are older and have a family and a lot of commitments like that, it becomes something you might not want to do as much. Okay, so moving on to a machine builder. So who is a machine builder? The big ones here in Windsor, Centerline, very big machine builder. Valiant, we had them in as a guest speaker the other day, another huge machine builder in Windsor. Rico, kind of a medium-sized machine builder, but a great company to work for. These are all people and companies that do design, build, and startup of machines and automation. These people actually build that equipment themselves. Okay, so the machines can be small or they can be huge assembly lines. So these companies can make some pretty big pieces of equipment and huge assembly lines. Okay, so a lot of the same things here that you'll see with a system integrator. Once again, you're going to have cutting edge technology, chance to learn new things, chance to expand your skills, be more marketable down the road. You will also get the long hours here. You will definitely get the travel here as well. The one thing that makes this different from a system integrator, possible long-term support. Okay, so when I talk long-term, if we talk a company like Valiant or Centerline, they might sell a, for example, let's say they're selling an assembly line or a welding line to a Ford plant in Ohio. And they might sell that huge line. It might take a year to build and run off locally. Then it might ship to somewhere in the States. And they might say, we are going to give you 2 years of support with that. So that means that they are committing to send people from here to that place for a 2-year duration. So that could mean you have something like it is your job to go there for 3 months or 6 months or a year, coming back on weekends, coming back every second weekend or once a month or something like that, whatever that job might entail. Okay, so that's what we talk about when we talk about long-term support. So if you watch some of the videos again, I know Joe Brogan talks about this, working for Valiant. I know TJ talked, or Thomas Forget talked about this, working for Centerline. This is something I've done a fair amount as well. So this can definitely be a downer after a while as well. Another thing you'll find with a machine builder compared to a system integrator, less variety of projects than a system integrator. So for example, if you work for Centerline, Centerline builds a lot of welding equipment. So if you work for Centerline, you're going to do a lot of different types of welding equipment. If you work for a system integrator, you might do a welding line, you might do a food processing line, you might do a stamping line, you might do a casting line, you might do a lot of different variety of projects. You might do a water treatment plant, you might do a lot of different things, whereas you won't get that working for machine builders. Machine builders tend to focus on one thing that they're very good at. They do branch out into a lot of different things. For example, if you see the videos that Valiant was showing the other day, they do automotive, they do aerospace, they do lots of different things. But if you're working for them, you're probably going to focus on one area. Whereas a system integrator is working for whoever the customer is, they're probably going to focus on a lot of different areas. You're probably going to see more things and bigger variety of things working for a system integrator than working for a machine builder. Working in a manufacturing plant. So Examples here, working for the big three. So when I talk about big three, we're talking Ford, Chrysler, GM, or something like Magna or Flexengate. We have a lot of graduates who work at Flexengate here locally. What do they do? So this is working for a company that actually builds a finished product. So they have automation in their plants that needs maintaining. So typically a robot programmer or a PLC programmer in a place like this is going to be more of a maintenance type job. They will get involved with upgrading equipment, so some project work like that, but probably primarily a maintenance and troubleshooting type of job. Okay, so different than a machine builder or system integrator, more of a maintenance type job working in that particular plant. So advantages to this, you're going to see little or no travel at all. So if this fits your lifestyle better, this might be a good option for you. Once again, you're going to see good money from this, and you're going to see potential for a union type job with this as well. Okay, which is always good. Disadvantages here. Quite possibly, you're going to get into shift work. That could be afternoons, could be midnights, could be day shift, but it's quite possible you're going to have a schedule that's going to revolve like that. Okay, there's sometimes it's difficult to get into these types of jobs. There tends to be more machine builder and system integrator type jobs from what we see around here, just because of the way the markets have shifted. Another thing as well, manufacturing plants don't get a whole lot of new equipment. They tend to be more maintaining what they already have. So if you're working, for example, if you're working at Flexengate, the robots and equipment you're working with there were probably installed several years ago, and you're probably maintaining that equipment. So you're dealing with a lot of older technology. So you're going to become very good at knowing how to use equipment from 10, 15 years ago, as opposed to what the state of the art is right now. So you'll become very familiar with older things, not as familiar with newer things. You won't always be seeing the newest, latest, and greatest equipment, which is what a system integrator or machine builder would likely be using. You don't get to do a lot of new things, so it's a lot of troubleshooting, most likely, and some people might find that to be boring. For me, I know I would not like this type of job. I would prefer more of the system integrator and machine builder type job. Those are the industries I have worked in. I've never worked in a manufacturing plant myself. Now I have a friend who I got a job working with me in at a system integrator, and he absolutely hated that job. He didn't like it. He didn't like the travel. He didn't like a lot of aspects of it. He left there, went to work at a manufacturing plant, and loves it. That is completely the job for him. So different people, different types of jobs are best for them. So he works midnights. He has no problems with it. He doesn't travel at all. He is perfectly fine with that. He hated traveling, and he is perfectly happy working at a manufacturing plant. Okay, so we are two different people, two different goals of what we like, and we both found good fits for what we wanted in two completely different industries. Okay, and the last one we're going to talk about is contracting. So two good examples of this. There's a company in Windsor called Level 1 Robotics, another one called Zion Robotics. And what they do is they find short-term contracts with different companies. I say here through a contracting company. So these would be your contracting companies. So they find short-term contract jobs for people to work in the industry. Some of these people are independent one-man companies themselves that they basically help find jobs for. So what they do, for example, Level 1 would have contacts with a lot of machine builders or end users, manufacturing facilities, and they have a lot of contacts with independent contractors and people that know PLCs and robots and things like that. So what will happen is, for example, Ford will call up Level 1 or Zion and say, I have a job going on in Kentucky next month. I need 30 robot programmers down there. Who can you get for me? And basically they would have a list of people that they deal with, and they would get Ford 30 robot programmers for a 2-month contract. And these companies take a cut of that work, and they basically they get paid by Ford, and then they are responsible for paying the individual contractors. So that's how that business works. So if you work for a company like this, the pros of that, you have a lot of freedom. You kind of get to pick what jobs you want to do or don't want to do. So if you want to go work in Kentucky for 2 months, you can say, yeah, I'll go do that. If you don't, you can say, I'm just going to take a pass on that. I'll wait to see what else you have come up. You can definitely make a lot of money doing that. You can get in situations where you work a lot, so you can work as much or as little as you want. And you do have a lot of independence with that as well. So I have a friend who just formed his own one-man company, who is now working through Level 1 and doing some independent contract work for them. So cons of this. This is not a permanent job, so you don't necessarily have a place to go every day. You are waiting for these individual contracts to come up. Another thing with this, if you are your own company, you are on your own. So that means you pay your own health insurance, you have your own retirement plans, you are your own individual company. You are not working for another company directly, so you need to take care of yourself. Okay, but this is a way that many people choose to go, and in this industry you will develop skills that enable you to do things like this. Okay, so that's our 4 kind of branches of what people could go into. All right, so how do you actually do your job search? You graduate, how do you actually start job searching? 3 main ways you can do this: online, word of mouth, or through a headhunter. So online sources, there's lots of ways to do this. There's the big ones like Monster, Jobs.com, stuff like that, all the ones you're probably familiar with. 2 other ones that I would recommend. LinkedIn is really good. If you do not have a LinkedIn profile already, you should make one. And another one locally here, WeTech Alliance has its own job board where they post tech jobs, and I'll show you some examples of these. So I just went on last night on LinkedIn, just typed in robot programmer, and I did see some stuff come up. This one actually was for PLC programmer, but here's a PLC programmer in Windsor. It just came up right away. So there is a good way here to find job listings right away. This is through LinkedIn. Okay. And I get lots of things coming to my LinkedIn account all the time saying, hey, here's a job you might be interested in, just because it knows that I have a background in this. Plus I get a lot of people posting. I get a lot of HR people that post on there as well. Okay, and then here's one from, this is WeTech. So if you look there, they have their own job board, and there's not currently anything. There's a bunch of software stuff here right now. Nothing currently for the PLC or robot market, but they often see things on there as well. A headhunter. What is a headhunter? That is a staffing agency that tries to match up employers and employees. Okay? Most commonly used by people with experience, but it's an option for entry-level people as well. This option, extremely costly for employers. So employers will sometimes do this. They will hire an agency to go find them people. They pay a ton of money to do this. This is extremely expensive for the employers. The person searching does not pay anything. All the cost is on the employer. But this is an option as well. So this would also be like going through a staffing agency or something like that. That could be an option for you as well. So getting into resumes. So we're going to talk about what is the purpose of your resume, what happens to it, the length of it, the white space, cover letter, and then other stuff as well. So all this stuff going forward here, keep in mind my actual training in HR is absolutely nothing. So I have no formal training in this. This is all just my own opinion. So I can tell you that I have hired co-op students, I have hired junior level people, and I have been in on a lot of interviews with people for various things at the different places that I've worked. Okay, so this is all based on my own experience and my own thoughts on this, but I think it's pretty consistent with a lot of things that go on in the local industry. So, first of all, purpose of your resume. Your resume is going to get you an interview. Okay? It does not get you a job. The interview is what gets you a job. So you are not winning a job based on your resume. A resume gets you that foot in the door that gets you the interview. It is your interview itself that will get you the job. Okay? So the whole purpose of your resume is just to make you interesting enough to make you worth interviewing. Okay? That is the purpose of the resume. So what happens to your resume when you send it somewhere? So let's say, for an example, and this is my experience with this, you see a job posted somewhere, so you send your resume to that job. So let's say, for example, Valiant, who was our guest speaker the other day, says, we're going to take in resumes for summer interns to work next summer at our plant. And they get 100 resumes. Okay? So what is the process that happens after that? Well, someone's going to get those 100 resumes, and their purpose is they're going to say, I need to get 10 of these out of that 100 that I'm going to do interviews for. So they have a big stack of resumes, and they need to whittle that down to a smaller stack that they'll actually interview. Okay? So they need to go through these and quickly assess if a candidate meets the qualifications or not. So 100 resumes times 2 minutes each. That's 200 minutes. That's more than 3 hours, right? That's a lot of time for someone to spend looking at a stack of resumes. Okay, so they need to be able to quickly assess if a candidate meets qualifications or not. Now, once you send in that resume, that might get stored or held on file. It might get reviewed down the road when people need to go through resumes again, or they might just throw them all out once they sort through these. So they might pick out what they want from this. Grab another pen here. They might pick out what they want and then just throw out the rest of them. Okay, so if you apply to someplace and you're sent in your resume and then another job posting comes up like a month later, don't assume, oh, I applied for a job there a month ago, they already have my resume, I don't need to apply again. They may have just taken your resume, went through it at that time, and then if they didn't hire you right away, they might just throw that batch of resumes and then call for a new application process. So every time a job posting comes out, you should be sending in another resume. Okay? Length of your resume. It should be 2 pages long. Okay? You can have a third page if you're going to include references, but 2 pages long at the maximum. You should be able to fill 2 pages up. All right? That is how long it should be. Your resume should have lots of white space. Okay? White space is literally white space on the paper. So space that has no words. White space makes the resume more appealing to the eye and easier to read. Okay? We like that. A good format. So you have headings, fonts, etc. Also adds to the appeal. You want to make it easier to read and easy to pick out the key points. So make it easy on the person who's reviewing this so they can get through it quickly and identify very quickly, do you meet qualifications or not. Make it as easy as possible for that person reviewing it, so they can determine that yes, you are someone they actually want to interview. So let's look at some examples of white space. So this is an actual resume from when I used to hire co-op students. This is a co-op student that applied for a job. So you can see out here, that's what we call white space. Empty space. Nice empty space out here. Everything's in point form. So using these bullets here, very well organized. So I can tell there's summary of their, basically what they're looking for, their work experience, volunteer experience, there's their skills, education, preferences. Okay? Their work experiences all listed here with their title, where it was. I can tell when it was, title, where it was, when it was, a little brief description of what they did there. Nothing really technical about it, just I can get a general feel of what they did in their job. Don't throw a whole bunch of stuff in here that I don't know what it is. Okay? And just showing the last couple jobs that they had. Okay? Some volunteer experience, so I can tell that they do some other things outside of school. Some technical skills. They have some technical skills. They have some non-technical skills. It shows me that they do some other things other than just their technical stuff. And where they went to school. That's about it for a resume. That's all you need. Okay? Presented in a very nice format. Here's another one. Once again, nice white space, bullet points. We like that. Presented very nicely, broken up. Skills, education, work experience, volunteer experience. This person actually has very little on their resume that's applicable to the job they were applying for, but this is just a really well presented resume. Okay? So this was just really well laid out. They barely have anything of value on here, but it's just presented really, really well. Okay? This is a good resume. All right, now contrast that with this. So, where's the white space on here? Almost none. There's basically nothing. Okay, this is just words, 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 words. So I said this every time I do this presentation. This person applied for this job, and I got this resume, and I opened it up, and I just threw it in the no pile. So I've still never read this resume. After doing this presentation about 8 times now, I've still never read this resume because there's too much here. I don't even want to read this. So if I'm going through this and I've been through a big stack of resumes and I've already got 3 out of, I need 5 to interview and I've already got 3 and I've still got a stack left, I come across this, I'm just going to say, nope, I'm probably going to find 2 more that I like. I just don't even want to invest the time in reading this, okay? So this is bad. Do not do this. Bad, not going to read it, don't care. Okay? That person could be great. I'm never going to know because I'm not going to read that resume. All right? Honest truth. All right. Cover letter. Cover letter should highlight why you should get the job. Okay? Make it easy for the person to figure out why they should give you the job. Should highlight your skills and strengths that line up what the job is asking for as well. And your resume can be the same for all the jobs you apply for, but the cover letter, so resume, same. Cover letter should be unique and tailored to each job you apply for. Example of cover letter. This is again same as this cover letter went with this resume. So here they are talking about what the job is that they want. I'll switch to highlighter here. right, so they're listing what job it is they want. Okay. In case there's multiple jobs that were applied for, they're going to call out what it is they're actually looking for. So they're giving a little brief description of where they worked before, showing how they're qualified. All right. The last paragraph is basically just a little throwaway here of look forward to meeting you. And then this stuff here gives me specific things about how their skills relate to what I'm looking for. So I can go through this quickly. They list some skills here. I'm just looking through this. What do I see? They're listing through some work experience. They're talking about their first co-op term, some stuff they did. Okay. All right. So we're through that. Okay, so what I would do, and that's what they're actually doing in school right now. All right. So those are the key things that I picked out of here just right away. Now, what they could even do there is they could bold those things to make it even easier for me to find. But basically what I would do with these resumes and cover letters is I would make a little chart on the front page here. I would just say, I'm just going to list out positives and negatives from here. So I see that they are an electrical engineer. They worked at Honda as a co-op term. They did work in Ontario before. They were a member of the Engineering Society executives that had some leadership skills, and they were an A student. I saw that in their resume. So, and I didn't see anything that were negatives as detractors. They had a bunch of positives, no negatives. That basically went into my good pile for reading or sorting out later. Okay? That's basically how I would process these. Okay? That's the way I would handle that. But that's a good example of a cover letter there. All right. Next thing we're going to say, if there is a job description that goes with the job, you're going to read it over carefully and make sure you hit on all the points that you can. So if you have a job description that looks like this, and you're applying for this job, requirements are university level, computer science degree, whatever, 5 years experience. So if they're saying 5 years experience, if you have that, you should be listing that in your cover letter. I have 5 years experience. If they actually say in here, they want strong written and verbal communication skills. People put that in everything, but if they put it right in here, you should have that in your cover letter somewhere where it says that I have strong written and verbal communication skills. If they list a bunch of software and you have this, you should put that right in your cover letter. It says I have this, this, and this. If they are listing a bunch of qualifications here, you want to tick off as many of these as you can right in your cover letter. And if they say must take pride in their tasks, you should indicate in your cover letter that you take pride in your tasks. Okay? So answer their questions that they put out there right in the cover letter. So if this is what they're looking for, they're specifically saying that they want this in a candidate, you need to make sure that they understand that you check all those boxes in your cover letter. Okay? So what should you be highlighting on your resume? Let's talk about this. So keep in mind, your skills that you are learning in this program set you apart from other applicants that are applying for jobs. So they set you apart from University of Windsor engineering students. It set you apart from EET students from St. Clair. and students from other colleges as well. Okay, this is a very strong program you're in. You are developing a lot of really, really good skills. So on your resume, you should be saying PLC programming. I write programs in a structured 5-rung style per industry standards. I know RS Logix 5000 and have safety PLC experience. I programmed an assembly line, made cycle time improvements. You can confidently say all of these things, okay? This should be on your resume. For robotics, you know ABB, you know robot guided vision systems. You can teach complex weld paths. We do this. This is our robots 1, 2, 3. This is robots 3. Robots 3. Sorry. Vision course. Hardware. Courses 107 and 305. For hardware, you can read and draw electrical prints. You can wire and troubleshoot electrical panels. We're learning all of these skills in our courses. 210 and 306. You can design and troubleshoot pneumatic and hydraulic systems. You can design and troubleshoot Cognex vision system applications. You can use Cognex vision to guide robots. You can use ABB integrated vision. Okay? So you have skills that are way beyond people coming out of many other university and college programs. Compared to University of Windsor electrical engineering students, you have practical skills that they do not have at all. Okay? They have a lot of theory. They do not have any of these practical skills. EET program, they don't do anything with robots. Other colleges in Ontario that do robots, they don't do robots nearly to the extent that we do. They have like one robot course. We have so many hours in robots, it's insane. Okay? Our skills, your skills, I should say, way beyond what other students are graduating with. So be confident in your skills, put those on your resume, and be confident to talk about them when you go to an interview. Okay? So that is it for this one. We're going to do a little bit in the other video about some progression through job paths. Okay?